We're joined now by a veteran of Ohio State football coverage, author Bill Rabinowitz, formerly of the Columbus Dispatch, now on Substack. And he's here to share some of the unique stories he has uncovered for his new book. And look at it. It's a beautiful book here called Buckeye Brotherhood. It is an inside look at Ohio State's national championship from a year ago. And that run to the championship started with an now infamous team meeting, players meeting that was after the loss to Michigan last year in November. You have talked to dozens of people who were both in that meeting and understand what happened. Can you give us some insight of what really went down there and how it projected Ohio State forward?
Yeah, this was 3 days after the Ohio State loss to Michigan, which nobody saw coming, just inexplicable, inexcusable. Players didn't leave their apartments. It was one of those things. So it was just Ryan Day in the team meeting room where they do the press conferences. He's in a chair, and it was like a free-for-all in a way because they just unburdened themselves. And I think the first player of significance to talk was Mitchell Melton, who was a guy, a backup defensive end. He challenged Ryan Day and basically said, why did you do this? Why did you keep running the ball? Why couldn't you get the ball to the playmakers? All that kind of stuff. And that started the ball rolling. One team entered the room and another team left the room. They went in there frustrated and angry, and they left united and just galvanized because they got it all off their chest. Ryan Day challenged the players challenged him. Then after Ryan Day left, the players kept talking for a few more minutes, and then G. Scott Jr. led a team prayer, and player after player told me that players were crying after this meeting. They just knew that something had changed.
You mentioned that some players didn't leave their apartments after that Michigan game. There's a couple players in particular who kind of wore the brunt of that loss in particular. Yeah,
I mean, one was the kicker, Jaden Fielding, who missed 2 field goals, I think 34 and 38 yards, I think it was. He needed basically a police escort to go to class the next week. That's how tough it was for him. When he got to his apartment after the game, he was confronted by angry fans, probably who had lost money on the game. That's another element to all this, is the bettors. I mean, some players, a lot of their parents were at their apartments when they got home from the game, and they didn't talk. They just didn't, they were like catatonic. They were so distraught from that loss.
You mentioned G. Scott a moment ago. I want to get back to him because he's a fascinating character study as a part of this team, a guy who went through a position change at Ohio State, and it wasn't necessarily clear that he was going to be a Buckeye.
He is the lead of the chapter about faith, and he was a guy, by his own admission, who was difficult. He would challenge coaches. He was a pain. And at one point, he just got so frustrated, he said, I'm out of here. He's from Seattle. He gets in his car. He drives towards Seattle. He gets to this convenience store in Indiana and stops to, I don't know, get gas or whatever it was, and somebody calls the cops on him. Well, this could have turned out pretty badly.
Yes.
I mean, but the cop was very sympathetic. He asked G. Scott, you know, what's going on with you? G. Scott, for whatever reason, decided that he could trust this cop. And the policeman actually had G. Scott go on rounds with him that night, had pizza with his own son.
Unbelievable.
And convinced G. Scott to come back to Ohio State. Ryan Day was very, very understanding, sympathetic. G. Scott's dad told me that he thinks that Ryan Day saved his life because it could have really spiraled.
He made that incredible play to open the Oregon game in the Rose Bowl, so he definitely came full circle. Another player, obviously, who will become an absolute legend after last year is Jack Sawyer, but he also did not have a perfect journey to this championship moment. What went on with Jack?
The team went to Mickey Marotti and said, we want you to make this as hard as possible for us. Don't cut us any slack in the off-season program. I think it was a June workout. They had to get there 25 minutes before their workout starts at 6:30, so 6:05 was their deadline. Jack Sawyer oversleeps, realizes it, jumps in his car, doesn't even wear shoes, and gets there 1 minute late. Oof. And Mickey Marotti, remembering what the team had told him, cuts him no slack. You're off the leadership council. Jack Sawyer was basically a blubbering mess. I mean, he was crying and thought, there goes my chance to be a captain. And he just worked his butt off to get it back in good graces. And when captains were announced, he was one of them. And it was certainly one of the happiest days of his life.
It will be released October 21st, but you can order in advance right now?
Yes, you can, Amazon, local bookstores.
Yeah. Bill Rabinowitz, as always, great work. Great working with you for about 2 decades on the Buckeye beat, and appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you for having me, Jared.
Yeah.